Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are on the seventh chapter of this book, Perfect Question, Perfect Answers, entitled Acting in Knowledge of Krishna. So this is the continuation of from the previous chapter. And in the evening now, Srila Prabhupada is discussing with his disciples as well as Bob Cohen. So the Indian gentleman is present and he asks the question, by what kind of actions does one earn good karma? Right? Good actions. What kind of actions do you get piety? So Srila Prabhupada says, good karma means what is prescribed in the Vedas. So any kind of action or work that is according to the Vedic teachings, that is known as good karma. Specifically, Prabhupada continues, it is prescribed that one should perform yajna, offerings, so sacrifices. Yajna means actions for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So good karma means performance of yajnas as they are prescribed in the Vedic literatures. Acts as per the Vedas which give pleasure to Lord Vishnu. That is what good karma is. Srila Prabhupada continues to explain, a good law-abiding citizen is one whose actions satisfy the government. So good karma is actions that satisfy Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. Unfortunately, modern people do not know what the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, what to speak of satisfying him. How can you satisfy God if you do not know who God is? They are simply busy with material activities. Therefore, all of them are performing only bad karma and therefore suffering. So in society today, because people are devoid of knowledge of the Vedas and devoid of knowledge of God, therefore every activity that they perform is simply bad karma. And the result of bad karma is suffering. They are blind men leading other blind men. And are then suffering by bad karma. That is very easy to understand. If you do something criminal, you will suffer, Prabhupada says. If you do something benevolent for the state, for the people, then you are recognized. You are sometimes given a title. Every country has their awards that they present to certain people who have done social work or benevolent activities to the country. So this is good and bad karma. What is known as punishing someone, right? Suffering, and what is known as benevolent, or giving prize to someone. That's good and bad karma. So by good karma, you enjoy some material happiness, and by bad karma, you suffer for material distress. By good karma, you get birth in a good family, you get riches, good money, you become a learned scholar, you become beautiful also. So these are all the activities of someone who has good karma. So Bob asked a question, what about a person who is not aware of God, but Prabhupada cuts in, he says, then he is an animal. So here Bob wants to ask, what about a person who does not know about God, but is doing very good work? But Srila Prabhupada said, if one does not even know about God, then he is considered an animal. A person who doesn't know what God is, or one who does not try to understand what God is, he's an animal. Why is Prabhupada saying this? Because to the degree, there's a verse in Mahabharata which says that, Ahara, Nidra, Bhayam, Maitunam cha. These four activities are both done by humans and men. Naranam, Pasubim, Samanam. They're both equal to men. But Dharmena Hina Adike Vishesho. That the only Adik Vishesh speciality in human life is Dharma. Dharmena hina pashubin samanam. That if he does not have dharma, he does not have inquiry into God consciousness, pashubir samanam. He's as good as animals. So what Srila Prabhupada is speaking here is actually from the Mahabharata. Bob asked a question, what about innocent people then? There are some people who they don't know because they are innocent. Srila Prabhupada says the animal is also very innocent. Right? So innocence is not a reason or is not an excuse. Prabhupada says if you try to cut the animal's throat, it will not protest. If you try to cut the throat of an animal, it will not protest. It's very innocent. So innocence is not a very good qualification, Prabhupada says. Our proposition is that one must be very, very intelligent, and then he can understand Krishna. To become an innocent, ignorant simpleton is not a very good qualification. Simplicity is all right, Prabhupada says, but one should not be unintelligent, right? That one can easily get cheated, one doesn't even understand how life is going. He's just living and dying just like animals. So on this point, Bob asked a question. Can you tell me what intelligence is? Srila Prabhupada says, intelligence means to know what one is, what this world is, what God is, and what their interrelations are. Who we are, who this world is, who this God is, right? This triangle of me, nature, and God, and the interrelationships of all three. The animal does not know what he is. He thinks that he is the body. Similarly, anyone who does not know what he is not intelligent. Bob still asked questions further. He said, what about a person who tries to do what is right and is very conscientious about the things he does? That means a very nice person here. Bob is not talking about a smart person. He's talking about a nice guy who's careful in what he does, right? And he tries to do the best. He tries to do the right thing. He gives an example like the servant who is very honest to his master, but knows that if he were not honest, he would not be caught. So he gives an example, a servant who knows that even if I steal, no one would come to know, right? For all reasons to cheat, but still he doesn't cheat. Wow, what a person Bob is putting forward to Prabhupada. A person with all reasons or all capabilities or all chances to cheat, but does not cheat. Isn't he not some amazing, honest guy? Bob says, if a person like that stays honest anyway, isn't it that some kind of good karma? So Prabhupada says, yes, to become honest is good karma. How to become a good man is described in Bhagavad Gita very elaborately. Daivi sampadvi mokshaya nibandha suri mata. So this is a verse that comes in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 5th verse. Okay, Daivi sampad vimokshaya nibandha suri mata. Ma sucha sampadim daivim avijato si pandava. So Daivi sampad, that means having the transcendental qualities. If you become qualified with Daivi sampad, transcendental qualities, then vimokshaya, you will be liberated. And nibandha suri, if you have asuri, demoniac qualities, then you will become entangled. Unfortunately, modern people do not know what is liberation and what is entanglement. They are so ignorant, they do not know. Prabhupada's point is this. And Prabhupada says, if I ask you what liberation is, can you answer? No answer. And if I ask you what entanglement is, can you answer? Again, no answer. These words are there in the Vedic literature, liberation and entanglement, mukta and bandha. But at the present moment, people do not know what they mean. So they are ignorant and foolish. And still they are proud of their advancement in knowledge. You are a professor, a teacher. Prabhupada is telling Bob, can you explain what liberation is? Bob thinks about it. He says, not adequately, because if I could explain it, then I would become liberated very fast. Srila Prabhupada, but if you do not know what liberation is, then where is the question of fast or slow liberation? You should first know what liberation is. If you do not know where the train is going, then what is the use of knowing whether it's going fast or slow? So, what is liberation? Oh, Prabhupada is not leaving Bob. You daily ask me. Now I'm asking you. Prabhupada is turning the tables. Bob laughs and he says, okay, let me think for a moment. Srila Prabhupada says, liberation is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. The exact Sanskrit word for liberation is mukti. So that is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam. Muktir hitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. This is second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, 6th verse. What is mukti? Mukti is defined as hitva anyata rupam, giving up other forms, giving up other designations. Swarupena vyavastitihi, being situated in one's original swarup. That is mukti. Prabhupada says one should stop doing all nonsense and become situated in original position. Anyata rupam means all other kinds of nonsense. That is liberation. Unfortunately, today, nobody knows his original position or how to act properly in that position. Right? Nobody understands that we are the soul. The modern population is so ignorant about their life. It is a very awkward position. They do not know. Bob thinks about this and he asks another question. Can you tell me who is honest? And Prabhupada says, if one does not know what is honesty, how can you be honest? But if you know what is honesty, then you can be honest. So what is honesty? First of all, explain. So Bob says, I would say that honesty is doing what you feel right. Very generic, common thing that people usually ask. Just be a good guy. But what it means, a good guy, right? Just be a nice guy. What it means, a nice guy. Everyone's perception or definition is relative. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada says, just do what is right. Okay. Srila Prabhupada explains. A thief is feeling, I must steal to provide for my children. It is right. Does that mean he is honest? A butcher thinks, I must cut the throat of animals daily. It is my livelihood. So Prabhupada remembers a story in this regard. Narada Muni once met a hunter, Mrigari. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, and asked him, why are you killing? He said, oh, it is my business. My father taught it to me. The hunter was honestly doing his work. So does that make it right? No. So a feeling of honesty depends on culture, what you're trained with. A thief's culture is different from ours. He thinks stealing is honest, right? A thief thinks that stealing is his birthright. Stealing is what, there's nothing wrong in it because that is his culture. So Bob becomes quite intrigued. He asks, then what is then honesty? Prabhupada says, yes, that is my question. Everyone laughs. Real honesty is that you should not encroach upon another's property. It's a beautiful definition. If one wants to be honest in life, one has to realize and respect the things or the items or the people or whatever that belongs to others. This is honesty. For instance, this is my table. If you take it away, is that honesty? So if someone comes and snatches from you, can you say he's being honest? He's saying, I just saw it lying down there, so I took it. That's not honesty, that's thievery. Therefore, the simple definition of honest is that you should not encroach upon another's rights. That is honesty. So now day-to-day lives also, we come across many things. Sometimes you see something lying somewhere or something not being done properly, or someone told you to take only one and you take two, right? So this is being honest. Know what is my property, Ishavasam idam sarvam, and live accordingly. If it's not mine, don't hanker for it. Or if you need it, ask for it. So Bob asked a question. So somebody who is honest would be in the mode of goodness. Would that be correct? Prabhupada says, yes, certainly, certainly. Because the mode of goodness means knowledge. So if you know this table does not belong to me, it belongs to Swamiji, you will not try to take it away. Therefore, one must know to whom things belong. Then he can be honest. Bob says, you have said that the mode of goodness was knowledge of God, but someone may be honest without having very much knowledge of God. So here Bob is saying, what about a nice guy, but who's not a devotee? So he continues to ask, without thinking they are honest because it is God's wish. They feel that they just ought to be honest. They're not trying to be honest. They feel that is what God wants them to do. Srila Prabhupada said, God wants everyone to be honest. Why should God think otherwise? So Bob re-asks his question. He says, can you follow God's wishes without knowing you are following God's wishes? That can be you a good guy, can you be a nice person like a devotee without actually being a devotee? So Prabhupada says, no, following without knowing. How can you say that I'm following the desires of this person without you know the desires? Right? Automatic, by chance. It's very risky, isn't it? So Prabhupada says that is absurd. It's nonsense. You must know the order of God. And if you follow that, then it is honesty. So this is a very interesting discussion that sometimes people ask us also, can we have a nice guy who is not a devotee? Yes, that is possible. He can be a nice guy, but his niceness will not last because his niceness can change, isn't it? Because it's not dependent on God. It's dependent on situation because he does not know. Bob, so someone cannot really be honest without knowing God. That means you cannot be a real good guy without being a devotee. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, because God is a supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, supreme friend. That is the statement of Bhagavad Gita. This is Shloka 5.29, last verse of the 5th chapter. Bhoktaram yagyatapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam. The Lord is the master or the enjoyer of all yagyas. He is the controller of all planets. And suhridam sarvabhutanam. He is the best friend. Srila Prabhupada continues to say, if anyone knows these three things, right? Supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and supreme friend, then he is in full knowledge. These three things only. That God is the proprietor of everything, God is the friend of everyone, and God is the enjoyer of everything. Okay. Prabhupada sometimes say that this is the peace formula. To be happy, just know three things. For example, everyone knows that in the body, the stomach is the enjoyer, not the hands, not the legs, not the ears, not the eyes. These are the simply there to help the stomach. Prabhupada gives. For example, the eyes. The vulture goes 7 miles up to see where there is food. Then with the wings, fly there, and with the jaws, catch the food. So his eyes, with his wings, with his jaws, they're all doing it. But the ultimate enjoyer of the food is the stomach, is it not? Bob says that is so. Similarly, as in this body, the stomach is the enjoyer, the central figure of the whole cosmic manifestation, material or spiritual, is God, Krishna. He is the enjoyer. So this analogy of feeding the stomach actually comes from the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a discussion of Narad Muni with the 10 Prachetas, right, the sons of King Prachinabari. Fourth canto, 31st chapter, 14th verse, where Narada Muni says the glories of bhakti. Yata tarurmula nisechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashaka pranopahara chaitriyanam tataiva sarvarhanamachyuteja yata tarur mula nishechaniya. Just like, so he gives in the sloka, he gives two examples. First example is watering the root of the tree. So if you want a tree to grow beautiful, nice, what you do? Pour water in the root of the tree, not on each leaf. But then question comes, someone says that, no, let me pour water on the root also, let me pour water on the leaf also. I'll do both. Is that okay? So Narada Muni thought, okay, it's not a very foolproof example. Let's give another analogy. Second analogy he gives in the same verse, pranopahara chayatendriyanam. Just like when you eat, in the putting food in the stomach, then the prana becomes enlivened and all the senses become enlivened. So here we cannot say that, let me put food in the stomach, let me put food in the eye also. I need some energy in my eye, let me take some sabji and put in the eye, make the eye strong. No, actually you destroy the eye, isn't it? So similarly, we can understand this just by considering our own bodies. The body is also creation. The body has the same mechanical nature you will find in the whole universe. The same mechanical arrangement will be found anywhere you go, even in animals. In the human body or in the cosmic manifestation, almost the same mechanisms, right? How things are functioning. So you can understand very easily that in this body, any body, your body, the stomach is the enjoyer. That is the central enjoyer. And the stomach is the friend also, because if you cannot digest food, you see, then all other limbs of the body become weak. Stomach doesn't get nourishment, everything else becomes weak. So similarly, Krishna is like the stomach of creation. Therefore, the stomach is the friend. It is digesting and distributing the energy to all the limbs of the body, is it not? So stomach takes all the energy and it nourishes the limbs. Bob says it is so. Prabhupada says, similarly, the central stomach of the whole creation is God or Krishna. He is the enjoyer, he is the friend, and he is the supreme proprietor. He is maintaining everyone just as a king can maintain the whole country's citizen because he is the proprietor. Without being the proprietor, how can one become everyone's friend? Right? Unless you're the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, how can you actually, think of others' welfare? So these things have to be understood, Prabhupada says. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, and Krishna is the supreme friend. These three things. If you know these three things, then your knowledge is full. You do not require to understand anything more. One of Prabhupada's favorite verses, Yasmin Vigyate Sarvameva Vigyatam Bhavati. Okay. If you simply understand Krishna by this formula, then your knowledge is complete. You do not require any more knowledge. But people will not agree. Why should Krishna be the proprietor? Hitler should be the proprietor. Rickson, as the proper saying, change the hero. That is going on. Therefore, you are in trouble. But if you understand these three things only, then your knowledge is complete. We will not accept. They say like that. No. Why should we follow? We will put forward so many impediments to understanding these three things. And that is the cause of our trouble. So Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes this verse which we are discussing. Bhuktaram yagyatapasham sarvam loka maheshwaram sukritam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, Yagya Tapasam, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, Sukritam Sarvabhutanam, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. But Prabhupada says the people, what they will think? No, 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 we won't talk of this. We will put forward so many false proprietors, false friends, false enjoyers, and they fight one another. This is the situation of the world. If people would take this knowledge, they would immediately be peace. Shantim Richati. This is knowledge. If anyone follows this principle, he is honest. He does not claim it is mine. He knows everything is Krishna's. And therefore, everything should be utilized for Krishna's service. Right? So why does a flower bloom? Why does a pomegranate grow? Why does a watermelon grow? Just to give pleasure to Krishna. Prabhupada says that is honesty. If this pencil belongs to me, the etiquette is for my students to ask, can I use this pencil? Then I will reply, yes, you can. Similarly, if I know that everything belongs to Krishna, I will not use anything without his permission. Right? Sometimes when we want to use something, take something, by asking permission means we understand that that person is the proprietor. That is honesty, Prabhupada says. And that is knowledge. One who does not know this is ignorant. He is foolish. And a foolish man commits crimes, Prabhupada says. They commit mistake, they suffer, right? All criminals are foolish men, Prabhupada says. Out of ignorance, one breaks the law. So ignorance is not bliss. There's a saying, ignorance is bliss. If you don't know, that means I'm happy. That's not true. If you don't know, there's a chance that you'll commit the wrong thing. But it is the folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. Where people like to live in ignorance, if you try to educate them, take them out of the ignorance, it is very folly. That is the difficulty. The whole world is enjoying ignorance, enjoying being ignorant. And when you talk about Krishna conscious, they don't very much appreciate it. If I say, Krishna is the proprietor and you are not the proprietor based on Shastras, you will not be very much satisfied. Everyone laughs. Just see, ignorance is bliss. So it is my foolishness to say the real truth in front of such people. Therefore, it is folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. So we are taking the risk of offending people and they think we are fools. If I say to a rich man, you are not a proprietor, Krishna is the proprietor. So whatever money you have, spend it for Krishna. He will become angry. And if you try to give good advice to a foolish person, he'll become angry. And this is exactly what Prabhupada quotes in the next line, Hitopadesh. Upadesho hi murkanam prakopaya na santaye. His prakopam, his anger becomes even more worse. If you instruct a rascal, he'll become angry. Therefore, we go as beggars. My dear sir, you are a very nice man. I'm a sannyasi beggar. So I want to construct a temple. Can you spare some money? So he will think, oh, here is a beggar. Give him some money. And everyone laughs. But if I say, dear sir, you have millions of dollars at your disposal. That is Krishna's money. Give it to me. I am the servant of Krishna. Huh? Oh, he'll chase me away. Prabhupada says. We will not be very satisfied. Rather, if I go as a beggar, he will give me something. So Prabhupada saying when we approach people, also take the higher path of making oneself feel very low, right? Become very humble. And that actually is what is conquering. And if I tell him the truth, he will not give me a farthing. If I tell him that, no, Krishna is the ultimate proprietor, you are nothing. So we convince him as beggars. We are not beggars, we are Krishna's servant, Prabhupada says. For ourselves, we don't want anything from anyone because we know that Krishna will provide everything. So it's very important, this verse, to understand in our faith also, that, Krishna can provide everything and whatever we need. Therefore, we don't need to actually depend on others. Prabhupada says this is knowledge. For instance, a child sometimes take $100 bill. So we have a child sometimes take $100 bill. So we have to flatter him. Oh, you are so nice. Please take this lozenges. Please give me the paper. It is nothing. It is paper. Isn't it? Children are playing the house. Suddenly, children come and take from father's wallet $100 bill. Father, like, wait, don't do anything with it. It's a useless paper. Give it to me. Take this nice chocolate. And he will say, oh, yes, take. That is nice. And he returns the $100 note for 20 penny sweets. We have to beg people in that way. Why? Because a man will go to hell by taking Krishna's money. That's the truth. So some way or other, take some money from him and encourage him in Krishna conscious movement. Okay, take some donation, something, just to purify him. And Bob says, and then he may not go to hell? Srila Prabhupada, you save him from going to hell. Save this guy. Because a farthing spent for Krishna will be noted by him. Oh, this man has given a farthing, small amount. This is called Ajnata Sukriti. Devotional service performed unknowingly. People are generally very poor in their thought. Therefore, the saintly people move amongst them just to enlighten them a little, to give them a chance to serve Krishna. That is a saintly person's duty. But if someone takes money from others and utilize it for sense gratification, he goes to hell. So big responsibility is there in the hands of those in the renounced order, not to misuse whatever is given in the name of Krishna. He goes to hell. Prabhupada says he's finished. He's a cheater. He's a criminal. You cannot take a farthing from anyone unless you use it and use it for your own sense gratification. We cannot do that. Take things from others and use it for our own enjoyment. Bob says that I think of people I know who are not Krishna conscious. So Bob wants to go back to the point that nice people, but they are not devotees. Prabhupada says Krishna means God. Bob says they are slightly God conscious, but still these people are honest to the extent that they do not take from other people at all. And they try to be honest with other people. So Prabhupada says they do not take from other people. They are not taking from anyone, but they're taking from God. Prabhupada says, no, they are still nonsense. Isn't it? They're not good people. They're stealing from God. So Bob says, these people are half good. So Prabhupada says, not good. If they do not learn this principle that God is a real proprietor, they cannot be good. So we wanting to help or create something, ultimately we have to take shelter of the Lord only. Because what can we do on our own? I'm thinking of poor people who need money and food but do not commit crimes to get it. Everybody around them may be stealing, but they still stand up and do not steal. These people somehow deserve something good to happen to them. Prabhupada understood and he says, but the man who is thinking he is not stealing is also a thief. The person saying, no, I'm very honest, I don't take anything. Prabhupada says, you're also a thief because you do not know that everything belongs to Krishna. You are not stealing from anyone you think, but ultimately the water, the sun that we use, you're stealing from Krishna. Therefore, whatever he's accepting, he is stealing. So conclusion to this section is that even if a person is a honest person, nice person, but he's not a devotee, we cannot have faith on the person's character because he can change anytime. Right? Nice guy, but not devotee. So Bob continues to say, is he less a thief, small thief? Prabhupada says, you may not know that I am proprietor of this shawl. Prabhupada is using a shawl. But if you take it away, are you not stealing? Let's say you come to a place, you see something lying there, you do not know who's in charge of it, who's the owner of it, and you just pick it up and go. That's stealing, isn't it? So Bob says, but maybe if I know it is yours and I take it, I am worse thief than if I do not know who is it. I just think that it may be nobody's and take it. So Prabhupada says that someone out of innocence, gross ignorance, comes see the deities and just pick it up. Right? So that is also stealing. So Srila Prabhupada says that is also stealing because it must belong to someone. And if you're taking it without his permission, you may not know exactly who the proprietor is, but you know it must belong to someone. So you may not know the deity or the this or that actually belongs to someone, and you just come and pick it up. So Prabhupada says sometimes we see on the road so many valuable things are left there. Government property for repairing roads or some electrical work, isn't it? Some tape measures, some this, some that. One may think, oh, fortunately, these things are lying here, so I may take them. Is it not stealing? When government workers come, they held some nice advanced gadgets and this and that. And suddenly, sometimes they leave it there on site. So if you pick it up, isn't it not stealing? Bob says it is stealing. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, he does not know that all his government property, and he does not know that it's all his government property and he takes it away. That is stealing. When he is caught, he is arrested, he is punished. So simply whatever you are collecting, suppose you are drinking a glass of water from the river, is the river your property? Bob says, no. Then it is stealing. You have not created a river, you do not know who is the proprietor, but it is not your property. So even if you drink a glass of water without knowing to whom it belongs, you are a thief. So you may think I am honest, but actually you're a thief. You must remember Krishna. So see how Prabhupada is so broad-minded. Bob is asking about a person. If he's a good person, can he be a non-devotee? Prabhupada says not possible. Okay, it's very difficult. How can you follow without knowing? And if a person says that I'm actually a good person, what is good? It's all relative. So remember Krishna. Oh, Krishna, it is your creation. So kindly allow me to drink. That is honesty. Therefore, a devotee is always thinking of Krishna in all activities. Oh, it is Krishna's. So this is honesty. Without Krishna conscious, everyone is a rascal, a thief, a rogue, and a robber. Prabhupada says like that. Therefore, our conclusion is that anyone who does not understand Krishna has no good qualifications. He is not honest, nor has he knowledge. Therefore, he is a third-class man. This is not dogmatism, Prabhupada said. Because if a person is not God conscious, he cannot be honest and he doesn't have knowledge. So you have to understand what is knowledge and what is honesty. Bob says, in a way, in one way. So Prabhupada says, there's another way. Bob laughs. Is there any other way? Defy it. You thinking that this is just one definition, there's some other definition? Bob laughs again. Srila Prabhupada also laughs. What is the alternative? We do not say anything that can be defied by anyone. That experience we have. Rather, we defy everyone. Prabhupada says, any questions? Till now, Krishna has given us protection in big meetings, in big countries. After I speak, I ask any questions. Bob says, now I have none. Srila Prabhupada says, in London, we had lectures for 12 days in Conway Hall. I think it was on Ishopanishad. So after every meeting, I asked, any questions? Bob says, did you get many questions? Prabhupada says, oh yes, but many were foolish questions. So Bob says, let me ask you one more question. What is meaning foolish? Prabhupada says, one who has no knowledge is to be considered foolish. And in the same room, there's another Indian gentleman. When he starts asking a question to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I have a question, can I ask? Prabhupada says, yes. So Indian gentleman says, some time ago in Calcutta, they observed a week named Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Week. So some, social work, a person trying to protect animal rights. Prabhupada says, this is another foolishness. They are advertising prevention of cruelty, yet they are maintaining thousands of slaughterhouses. The government is organizing prevention cruel, free animal week, but the government himself is organizing slaughterhouses. Prabhupada says, you see, that is another foolishness. They are regularly cruel to animals. And they are making a society to prevent it. It is as if a gang of thieves calls itself good men and company. Good people. How can you say a thief gives the name good men and company? Giriraj asks, yesterday you said that the spiritual master may have to suffer due to the sinful activities of the disciples. What do you mean by sinful activities? Prabhupada says, at initiation you promised, I shall follow the regulative principles. If you do not follow, that is very sinful, very simple. If you break the promise and do nasty things, therefore you are sinful, is it not? Giriraj says, yes. But there are some things we are instructed to do that even though we try to do them, we cannot do perfectly. Srila Prabhupada says, you try to do and you cannot do? How is it that? Giriraj, like chanting attentively. Sometimes we try, but so Prabhupada says, well, that is not your fault. Okay? So Prabhupada sympathizes with him. Suppose you are trying to do something, but due to your inexperience, you sometimes fail. That is not your fault. You are trying. A verse in Bhagavatam says that if a devotee is trying his best, but due to his inability, incapability, he sometimes fails, Krishna excuses him. And in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30, Krishna says, Apiche suduracharo bhajante mam ananyabhak sadureva samantavya. Sometimes someone may commit the most abominable activity, but if he is worshipping me sincerely, he should be considered a saintly person. So these are quotations Prabhupada gives to show that as long as one is sincere in one's practice, right? Even if one is a little incapable, Krishna forgives that. Sometimes one does something nonsensical unwillingly due to bad habits. This does not mean that he is faulty, but he must repent for what he has done, and he should try to avoid it as far as possible. But bad habit is second nature. Habit is second nature, isn't it? It keeps popping up. Sometimes, in spite of your trying hard, Maya is so strong that it trips you with pitfalls. That can be excused. Krishna excuses. Okay, Prabhupada being so merciful, saying that such thing Krishna overlooks. But those who are doing something willingly are not excused. Right? If you are doing something bad out of the push or the habit that you want to avoid, but those who are doing it willingly, planning, scheming, right? They are not excused. On the strength that I am a devotee, if I think because I am chanting, I may therefore commit all this nonsense and it will be nullified. That is the greatest offense. Right? This is the seventh offense to the holy name. Namno bhalat asya hi papa buddhi. To actually commit sins thinking that anyways I'm chanting, it will all be okay. So like this, we see the seventh chapter of this book. Perfect question, perfect answers. So we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.